ultimate inexpressible adoration offered by us to the transcendent, to the highest, to the ineffable, is yet no complete worship if it is not offered to him wherever he manifests or wherever even he hides his Godhead, and an object and every creature. So there are footnotes. So let's go to the footnotes and see what he's saying. Okay. So one second. Yeah. Yeah. So on page 160, the first is highest. So highest, he is using Param Bhavam. Okay. Param Bhavam, I think he is quoting from the Gita. Okay, so I'm not sure, but I think it is Gita. Because mostly he is dealing with the Gita here. Then the other one, Manushim Tanum Ashritam. So that is the second one, which is the in man. So you have to not only offer your devotion to the highest, Param Bhavam, the supreme, but also to man who is Manushim Tarum Ashritam. In man and object and every creature, you have to try and see the divine everywhere. Srimad is saying it is not enough to even just the divine outside the universe, the transcendent, the cosmic, and also the individual. In fact, he is going very detailed. He's saying in man and object and creature. So everywhere, wherever you see in the physical world, man, object or creature, you have to think of the divine in all these things and offer your devotion. Okay, so to the ineffable, there is also a word he has used, ineffable. That means you can't put into words, ineffable. Defying expression or description, that's ineffable, cannot be described. Is yet no complete worship if it is not offered to him wherever he manifests or wherever even he hides his Godhead. In man, this definitely this is a phrase from the Gita, okay? Manushim tanim ashritam, tanum ashritam. Hiding in the, taking refuge in the body of man. Tanum, body, man. Okay. So he is there everywhere. So we have to try and see him everywhere. You have to make an effort. So then he says, and ignorance is there, no doubt. Okay. We have to start with ignorance. We don't see the divine, but we have to imagine him. And our imagination to begin with may be quite false, but doesn't matter. It's a first attempt at connecting yourself with the divine. And ignorance is there, no doubt, which imprisons the heart, distorts its feelings, obscures the significance of its offering. So all this imperfection is there, but it doesn't matter at all. You have to start. All partial worship, all religion, which erects a mental or a physical idol, is tempted to veil and protect the truth in it by a certain cloak of ignorance and easily loses the truth in its image. So when you are, either you are worshipping a photograph or you are worshipping an idol, okay, whatever it be, whichever idol, either in stone or in metal or whatever, some it can be, there is an ignorance. Certainly you don't see the divine in the photograph, but with a highly developed consciousness, you will be able to see the presence. I will refer you back to Sri Aurobindo's seeing the divine presence in that dilapidated temple across the Narmada river. Okay, when he went there, he has seen that in that dilapidated temple, nobody was going there anymore, but that stone image contained, he could see the divine presence in it. Okay. And now the Baroda Center have made that place very nice and they have cleaned it up and many people go there Whoever goes to Baroda, the devotees of Mother and Sri Aurobindo, they go to that place. And I did not go because I went there long ago, but I went only to the to the place where Sri Aurobindo lived, that house. Okay, so this is what Sri Aurobindo is saying, that you have to see the divine in everything, in creatures, in men, in human beings. You have to try and see. Although there is an ignorance, but the pride of exclusive knowledge is also a limitation and a barrier, because knowledge says don't worship outer symbols. Why do you want to worship only a stone thing or a photograph? It is only paper, it's only stone. But that arrogance is not justified, but the pride of exclusive knowledge, excluding the heart and all the emotions. Only knowledge is important. That's the Jnana Yoga path. Not everybody does that, but there is a natural tendency to think that knowledge is superior to love. But the pride of exclusive knowledge is also a limitation and a barrier. For there is concealed behind individual love, obscured by its ignorant human figure, a mystery which the mind cannot seize, the mystery of the body of the God, of the divine, the secret of the mystic form of the infinite, which we can approach only through the ecstasy of the heart and the passion. Sorry, I have lost my page. Just 1 minute. Yeah, I am getting it now. Yeah. The mystery of the body. So he's saying that the physical matter seems to be absolutely crude and dense and dark, but the divine is hiding there also. After all, he has created everything. In the sequence of the increasing density as you come down from the highest, okay, there is a density and a darkness that increases. But don't think that the divine is not there. He is lessening his presence, making his presence less and less visible, but it is there. And if you have your sharpest sight, you will be able to see the divine everywhere. That's what he said. Okay, so, and that is possible with the, maybe not with the knowledge, because the knowledge is at the highest level. But here, the love and devotion, you will be able to see the divine even in the lowest. Okay, so there is concealed behind individual love, obscured by its ignorant human figure, a mystery which the mind cannot seize. The mind is the instrument of knowledge, but the heart is the instrument of love. Okay, what the heart can do, the mind cannot do. That's what he's saying. It's interesting because we have that French saying, everybody knows about that French saying. Le cœur a ses raisons que la raison ne connaît pas. Everybody knows that. The heart has its reasons which reason does not understand. So that's what Sri is saying here. The mind cannot seize, but the heart can seize. The mystery of the body of the divine, the secret of a mystic form of the infinite, which we can approach only through the ecstasy of the heart and the passion of the pure and sublimated sense. Sublimated, our senses are gross, eyes, ears, nose, okay, skin and ears everywhere. They are all dense and very gross, but sublimated senses are that sight without eyes, hearing without ears, tasting without tongue, okay, and touching without skin. All these things are there. They are sublimated sense. Sublimated, made more subtle and made to rise. Sublimate. Okay. When you sublimate something, it becomes a gaseous state. So that is the subtler senses. And its attraction, which is the call of the divine flute flare. Sri Aurobindo is now referring clearly to Sri Krishna, because Sri Aurobindo's contact with the divine was always through Sri Krishna. Okay? Of the divine flute flare, the mastering compulsion of the all beautiful. He is reading English words, but he is meaning the Sarva Sundara. Sri Krishna is described as the flute player, Murali Dhara, okay? And the mastering compulsion. You have to compulsorily When the heart, you have to see his beauty everywhere. And note interestingly that he is imaged as dark, huh? But even darkness. It's interesting that Rama was dark-skinned, okay, and Sri Krishna was dark-skinned. So all this idea about fairness and darkness all goes away. See, very clearly, all these avatars are all dark. Even Swamna was dark to begin with. It's interesting, and the mastering couples are all beautiful. In fact, darkness can be also beautiful. Okay? Velvety darkness of night. Okay? There is Byron has got a very interesting line where he says, "She walks in beauty like the night." Okay? So night also with its velvety darkness can be beautiful. Look at I'm straying a little bit from the text, but it's so interesting. If you look at the crow with its black wings, you will see a tremendous amount of beauty in that, because there is if you look carefully at the crow, this darkness is got a substance which is, shining. There are many colors in that blackness. Okay, if you look carefully next time, you will see. Very interesting. So the crow can be a very beautiful. Several people have told me that. They have seen the beauty in the black of a crow. Okay, so we think that the crow is a very ordinary bird, but it is not. It's it's one of the most intelligent birds. Okay, so I come back to the text. Dark, okay. Divine flute player, mastering compulsion of the all beautiful, can only be seized and sees us. So we can seize and he will seize us through an occult love and yearning, which in the end makes one form and the formless. The form and the formless become one and identify spirit and matter. This is possible through love. Okay? Even human love can be sublimated and made a divine love. It is that which the spirit in love is seeking here in the darkness of the ignorance. And it is that which it finds when individual human love is changed into the love of immanent divine incarnate in the material universe. Immanent divine, the divine which is living in form, man and creature, as you said earlier. Okay, so we should not neglect love. It's a very, very important element in our psychological constitution. We think that the mind is the best part of man. There is a certain element of truth in that, but because it can be leading you towards the right way of thinking and the right logic and all that. But still, the heart has got some intensity of heart is not possible in the mind. That's what it is. So, we read the next para. Who will read? Pallavi, good morning.
Bonjour, Rangada.
Bonjour. We have started already today. Okay. So,
Yes.
So we have to read the next para. As with individual, so with universal love. He has been dealing with the universal, the individual love. He has spoken very clearly in the previous of the individual love. Okay, the individual love. Note that sentence on page 160. There is concealed behind individual love. Okay, when an individual man loves, okay, it may be apparently very imperfect, because usually individual love, human love, is full of demands. Okay, it's not pure. It's always got a motive. Okay? Even the purest form of love of a mother for the child, that also is not absolutely perfect. Okay, there's an expectation. Some sort of expectation is always there. So this is individual love. Now he is going to talk about the universal love. Okay, so we start reading. Pallavi, maybe you can read. It's your Tuesday class.
No, Rangada,
Yeah.
I don't have the text.
Okay. Then we go to anyone who is. Tarika is itching to read. I can see her image blue. The blue border means that she is coming on the line. Okay, Tarika, go ahead.
As with individual, so with universal love. All that widening of the self through sympathy, goodwill, universal benevolence and beneficence, love of mankind, love of creatures, the attraction of all the forms and presences that surround us, by which mentally and emotionally man escapes from the first limits of his ego, has to be taken up into a unifying divine love for the universal divine. Adoration fulfilled in love, love in Ananda, the surpassing love, the self wrapped ecstasy of transcendent delight in the transcendent, which awaits us at the end of the path of devotion, has for its wider result a universal love for all beings, the Ananda of all that is. We perceive behind every veil the divine, spiritually embrace in all forms the all beautiful. A universal delight in his endless manifestation flows through us, taking in its surge every form and movement, but not bound or stationary in any, and always reaching out to a greater and more perfect expression. This universal love is liberative and dynamic for transformation. For the discord of forms and appearances ceases to affect the heart that has felt the one truth behind them all, and understood their perfect significance. The impartial equality of soul of the selfless worker and knower is transformed by the magic touch of divine love into an all embracing ecstasy and million bodied beatitude. All things become bodies, and all movements the playings of the divine beloved in his infinite house of pleasure. Even pain is changed, and in their reaction and even in their essence, things painful alter. The forms of pain fall away. There are created in their place the forms of Ananda.
Okay, so again he is talking with the love. Hello. Yeah, so what is this? There's an echo coming? It's rather strange. Why? See, there's some, as soon as I'm talking, there's a, okay, Tarika has muted herself. All right, so let's see what he's saying. As with individuals, so with universal love. So what exactly does it mean? I think he means that individual love means you are loving only the divine or one person. Okay, that's individual love. But when you start loving everything, as he says earlier, man, creature, and object, you start seeing the divine everywhere, it becomes universal. In fact, you are not making any difference between this and that and man and creature and animal, nothing. You are seeing the divine everywhere, or you are feeling his presence. Okay, so that's so with universal love. So what happens? All that widening of the self through sympathy, goodwill, universal benevolence, and beneficence. Okay, so the word beneficence is very interesting because beneficent is the adjective, but there is no CI. Beneficent is the adjective, but here beneficence. So you read it like a sir. Beneficence. Love of mankind, love of creatures, attraction of all the myriad forms and presences that surround us. Again, he is repeating love of mankind, man he has said earlier, and he has said love of creature, that also he has said earlier, and attraction of all forms, even the material forms, and myriad. But I think Tarika is, myriad is not there in the SABCL, and she didn't read that word. She said all forms, because in the SABCL that word myriad is not there. Yes, I made a note of that. And presences that surround us. Presences also. You feel the divine everywhere. by which mentally and emotionally man escapes from the first limits of his ego. Naturally, because just see, if you are seeing the divine everywhere, okay, you are hardly concentrating on yourself. So naturally, you have widened yourself. So they use the word wide. And through sympathy, everywhere you see, there is a feeling of sympathy. Sympathy. The feelings go everywhere, and there is a feeling of goodwill and universal benevolence. Sympathy is described exactly in this way. When you have goodwill for everybody, you are in a very, very happy condition. Universal benevolence and beneficence, love of mankind, love of creatures, attraction of all the myriad forms and presences that surround us. When you look at a tree, you see the beauty of flowers, the beauty of trees. Everywhere you start seeing beauty, and that gives you love. And this is not limited to only one person or one animal or one object or anything. It is there everywhere. That's the universal love he's talking about. Has to be taken up into a unifying divine love for the universal divine. The universal divine is in the universe, cosmic, not transcendent or individual, but he's talking of the universe. Okay. The divine can be there transcendentally. That means he is outside the universe. When you experience the transcendent divine, you are not in the universe and you are not seeing the universe at all. You are seeing only the divine at the highest level, transcendence. But now he is speaking about the universal love. So that is in the universe itself. You are seeing, whether it be man, creature, or form, you are seeing the divine everywhere. You are seeing or feeling his presence. In the beginning, feeling the presence is more likely to happen. Okay. Later on, you will be able to see the divine also. You will be able to see behind all the forms. But that is I think, a pretty advanced stage of yoga. I think so. Then he is saying, adoration fulfilled in love. Okay. Their adoration can be fulfilled in love. In the beginning, the adoration may not give you the full love. Okay. You are only adoring the divine. Love in Ananda, the surpassing love, the self-wrapped ecstasy of transcendent delight in the transcendent, which awaits us at the end of the path of devotion. The knowledge of the transcendent is mostly in the Jnana Yoga path. But now even the love, if it goes to that supreme love, self-wrapped ecstasy, self-wrapped ecstasy, okay? It is limited to the transcendent and it is self-wrapped. There is a tremendous concentration in the heart, in the divine, and the delight in the transcendent, which awaits us at the end of the path of devotion. So there also you will get the knowledge. Okay, that's what he is hinting at. Has for its wider result a universal love for all beings, the ananda of all that is, that exists. We perceive behind every veil the divine, spiritually embrace in all forms the all beautiful. The universal delight in his endless manifestation flows through us. Chandra has described the ananda that you can get in so many ways. Okay, he has described. He has said, that's why he's saying flows through us. You'll feel the universe, the ananda flowing in your veins. Okay. There are a lot of descriptions also of others feeling as though there's the sweetness of wine. Okay, wine is a symbol of the delight. Okay, it's a symbol, and you feel it flowing in your veins. The love, you feel it flowing in your veins. Taking in its surge. Surge is the current. Okay, the surge. Every form and movement, but not bound or stationary in any, and always reaching out to a greater and more. This once again I've lost my page. Not bound or stationary in any, and always reaching out to a greater and more perfect expression. This universal love gives you this feeling. This universal love is liberative and dynamic for transformation. So what does it mean by liberation? It can actually take your soul out of your body, mind, life. That is liberation. Liberation is very clear. You are not identified with your body, mind anymore. That is liberation. Because when you are in your body, mind, life and you think you are identified with it, you are in a prison. The soul is in a prison house. So, but love, extreme love can make you liberated. It can also lead to liberation. And liberation is normally the path of Jnana Yoga. So you understand and you know that you are not the body, mind, life. But it is not only liberation, it is dynamic for transformation. There are two types. One is a liberation without transformation. The body, mind, life retains its imperfections. That's the usual thing that happens to yogis. But now Swami is saying if love is there, it can even transform your mind, transform your heart, and transform even your body to a certain extent. Transform how? Your mind will become full of knowledge. Easily you will understand things which you did not understand earlier. And your heart will become pure. There will be no impurities. There will be no wrong feelings. That's a transformation. So love can give you liberation, but also it can give you transformation. The word dynamic means effective. Okay? That which succeeds, that is dynamic. Because there can be a love which is not dynamic. But this intense love, universal love can be dynamic. It changes you. For the discard of forms and appearances ceases to affect the heart that has felt the one truth behind them all and understood their perfect significance. You see that all the forms are really only masks for the divine. That you understand. Their significance is, each form is significant. The divine is making forms, and each form is significant of something at the highest level. Each form that you see has a purpose. And the divine, when he is manifesting himself, he manifests himself in 100,000 forms. And each form corresponds to some aspect of the Supreme Truth. That's what he's saying when you understand the significance. Okay? The impartial equality of soul of the selfless worker. The worker who has understood that the work that he is doing is not done by him. Okay? It is done by universal nature. And knower, he also knows that he is not the body, mind, life. He is transformed by the magic touch of divine love into an all-embracing ecstasy and million-bodied beatitude. So, all-embracing, you start seeing the divine everywhere and everything gives you ecstasy. And million-bodied, the 100,000 million bodies in the physical universe are all giving you beatitude. That's what it is. Everywhere you turn, you will see the divine, and naturally that will give you ananda. All things become bodies, and all movements of the playings of the divine beloved in his infinite house of pleasure. See, these are the movements which are now so common all over the world. Okay, there's ISKCON. Okay, that's one. There's a lot of distortion, but anyway, it is the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, ISKCON. There are temples all over the world. Okay, the ISKCON movement. Of course, there's a lot of impurities also there, but that doesn't matter. It's an attempt to realize that aspect. The million-bodied beatitude. All things become bodies, and all movements. Okay, they play things of the. Then there is also another gentleman. I think he only has made he's an Indian, and he's Prabhupada something his name is. I forget the exact name, but he also has instituted this movement of love.
Swaminarayan.
Huh?
Swaminarayan.
That also is another movement, yes. That also is another movement. But I'm thinking of some other person.
No, Prabhupada is this one, Krishna consciousness.
Acha, that's what I thought. Yeah, he is the
Yeah.
one who started the Krishna consciousness.
Attended the ISKCON movement.
ISKCON movement, yes. Have you ever been to an ISKCON temple?
Yes.
Yeah. I had gone
In
once.
Bangalore, there is one also. In Bangalore, there is one ISKCON temple.
No, in Bombay also there is one, in Mumbai.
One in Bombay also. Yes, I've been to Bombay also.
Yeah, I had gone once when I was in Bombay. I had visited that temple. Okay, so this was saying. So then all things become bodies and all movements, the playings of the divine beloved in his infinite house of pleasure. This is the Vaishnava movement, the worship of Krishna. Okay? That is the everything. It's all Leela. Everything, even pain is changed, as they saying, and in their reaction, and even in their essence, things painful alter. The forms of pain fall away. They are created in their place, the forms of Ananda. Okay, so the forms of Ananda, as Surendra is described in the record of yoga, he says there are different types of Anandas. There is the Ahaituka Ananda. That means Ananda without any reason. Hetu is reason. So Ahaituka, without any reason, you suddenly feel ecstasy. Or there is Hetuka Ananda. That means Ananda with a cause. Okay. Suppose you are walking and you hit the edge of the table. Instead of giving you a vibration of pain, it will give you a vibration of Ananda. Okay, Haituka Ananda. Then you can feel the Ananda like a in the body. So that is the Kamananda, he describes it as. Then there is the Vaidyudananda. Okay, Vaidyudananda like an electric current going through you. Different forms of Anandas. Okay. And there is the Supreme Ananda, which is the what do we call it? I've forgotten the word, but there are so many different types of anandas. So he says it's like wine flowing through your veins. You feel it everywhere. Okay, so that finishes this. So it is so important. He has described that so beautifully. Love is very, 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 very important in Sri Aurobindo Yoga and also in the Bhagavad Gita. It is not so much in the other systems of yoga, neither in Sankhya nor in the Jnana Yoga part. The Karma Yoga, it is there, and in the Bhakti Yoga also it is there, and a very important element. Adoration of the divine. Okay, so what is the time? 26. We have got 10 minutes. We can read the next one. This is in essence. So Tarika read. So now, any one of you, whoever is, if Archana ji has got the text, she can read. Or if she is not there,
Can I?
yes, she can. Go ahead.
This
This
is in
essence.
yes. This is in its essence the nature of the change of consciousness, which turns existence itself into a glorified field of a divine love and ananda. In its essence, it begins for the seeker when he passes from the ordinary to the spiritual level and looks with a new heart of luminous vision and feeling on the world and self and others. It reaches its height when the spiritual becomes also the experimental level, and there also it is possible not only to feel it in essence, but really realize it dynamically as a power for the transformation of the whole inner life and the whole outer existence.
Yeah. Very small para. And this is, in its essence, the nature of the change of consciousness, which turns existence itself into a glorified field of divine love and ananda. So, love can do this for you. Okay. Normally, the path of Jnana Yoga takes you away from the physical world. You concentrate only on the transcendent aspect. outside the universe. But here, the whole universe becomes a glorified field. You don't see cruelty, you don't see suffering, you don't see imperfection. You start seeing the glory in the universe. Everywhere you see. You start seeing the beauty of flowers, the beauty of trees, the beauty in nature. You start seeing the beauty even in animals. There's so much of beauty everywhere. That's what you start looking everywhere. Glorified field of a divine love and Ananda. In its essence, it begins for the seeker when he passes from the ordinary to the spiritual level and looks with a new heart of luminous vision and feeling on the world and self and others. Okay? So, this is what Srimad is saying. The seeker who is looking through through love, approaching the divine through love, he starts seeing all these things that he has described, the divine presence everywhere, when he rises to the spiritual level. Okay, the spiritual level is very clear. Sridhar says he uses the word spiritual from the higher mind onwards. Higher mind, intuitive mind, element mind, intuitive mind, over mind. This is what he calls spiritual being. When you experience a psychic being, it is not, the word spiritual is not usually used. It gives you purity. It gives you a tremendous sense of purity. You may feel the divine presence everywhere. But this universal love, the psychic awakening can take you to the spiritual level. And when that happens, that's what he's saying. It becomes, he passes from the ordinary to the spiritual level and looks with a new heart. The old heart had its imperfection, but this new heart of luminous vision, you start seeing everywhere. Very clear, luminous vision. It's not imagination or a feeling, it's a vision. And a feeling also is there on the world and self and others. Again, he is stressing the three words, world, self and others. In other words, everything in the physical universe, man, creature and objects. He goes on using this with different words, man, creature and objects. It reaches its height, the height of love and Ananda, when the spiritual becomes also the supramental level. So the spiritual is level 2 and the supramental is level 3. So it reaches its maximum potentiality, its height, when it goes to the third level of the supramental level. And then also it is possible not only to feel it in essence, but realize it dynamically as a power for the transformation of the whole inner life and the whole outer existence. So we have to make a clear distinction between the transformation of the inner life and the whole outer existence. The outer existence is your body-mind life, which starts also showing changes. Not full changes, but changes. The body doesn't change that easily, but there can be superficial changes like change of color and health and all that. But the divine transformation of the body also becomes possible, but it not yet happened at the supramental level. So that's what he's saying. The love can take you right up to the supramental level. And you can not really feel it in essence everywhere, but realize it dynamically as a power for transformation. When love becomes that intense and goes to the third level, your mind, vital and body start also reacting to it and becoming purer and purer. That's what he's saying. So we have come to 8:32. We have got only 3 minutes left. I don't think we can do the next one. In 3 minutes, we can't read the next one. It's quite a big paragraph. So we'll leave it at that. Okay. So we have to note down, it is not altogether difficult for the mind. That's okay. Today you didn't read, but you can make a note. We can read this next
I will
time.
make.
Yeah, it is not altogether difficult. Next time you will start reading.
Okay.
Okay. It's not altogether difficult. Okay.
Yes.
Au revoir, everybody. Have a nice day.
Au revoir, Rangada. Bonjour.